Shalom, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, let well praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstone, peace and salutations to hopeful elects. So we'll talk about how the Lord, directs your steps, and the Lord is in control of you and your movements. So that's why, it's you should be humble and meek in this thing, and to fear as well, because we're not in control of how we move out here. We're doing this for, it's all about the Lord's will, Yahweh and His will, and what He wants done, and how He wants to use you, and how He uses you. So don't be discouraged or upset if you don't get the things that you want. You want to do this, or you want to do that, or you want to be able to go this place or go that place. And if you're unable to do that, that's why you always say, Lord willing, for what are you going to do, because you don't know what tomorrow may bring. This is James 4:13. Go to now, ye that say today or tomorrow, we will go into such a city and continue there a year, and buy and sell and get gain. Yeah, if you say, I'm gonna go to this place, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this tomorrow, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna buy this, you always say, Lord willing. Whereas you know not what shall be on the morrow. What is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and that vanish away. Yeah, you don't know what tomorrow may bring. You may not even be on the earth, tomorrow. Your life is nothing, man. Like it says, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and it vanishes away. Little time we have, man. You don't know what's coming down the pipe for you tomorrow. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or do that. Yeah, Lord willing. We'll go to the store, Lord willing, I'll take my girl out on a date this Saturday, whatever it is, man. Because the Lord directs the steps of men. He puts it in your mind what you're going to do for that day. Now, this is Job 33:15. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed. Yeah, so when you're sleeping, Then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction. And so he downloads, what are you going to do for that day? He programs that into you. So that's why you don't know, man. You got to say, Lord will. And if you end up doing it, what you wanted to do, that was the Lord putting that in you to do it. That he may withdraw man from his purpose. It's not about what we want. It's about what the Lord wants. Yahushai. It's about his plan, his purpose. And hide pride from man. Yeah. This man gets very prideful and boastful, man. Leave it up to man to do what he wants to do. But the Lord is in control of everything. It's Proverbs 16:9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. Yeah, man's mind, comes up with a plan of what he wants to do, but the Lord will actually direct that steps of whether you will accomplish that goal or not. Yeah, the Hebrew word there is a hashab for deviseth. It means to think, plan, esteem, calculate, invent, make a judgment, imagine, count, to think, consider. So a man will think about something that he wants to do, but the Lord will direct his steps of whether he'll actually accomplish that goal or not, man. Because the Lord is going to put it in your spirit, what you're going to do for that day, man. He's in complete control. But the Lord, Yahushai, directed his steps, so There's no room for pride in this thing, man. Proverbs 3 and 5. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. Yeah, lean not unto your own understanding, whether or not you don't understand a certain situation. Scripture say, our thoughts are not his thoughts are not your thoughts. Our ways are not his ways. If you don't understand a particular situation, you pray on it. Cast your burdens unto the Lord. But if you don't understand it, man, put your trust in the Lord. That is for your benefit at the end of the day. Just trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. And in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Acknowledge the Lord, man. He will acknowledge the Lord, and he will direct your path, man. If you're not sure what you need to do, where you need to go, how you need to move forward, acknowledge Yahweh Shai. Cast your burdens unto the Lord. Pray to the Lord, man, to guide you in your way, and he will direct you into the right path. Especially in this truth. You're just coming into this truth, man. Pray that the Lord will guide you on what you need to do, and you need your position in this thing, man. Be not wise in thy own eyes. Be not wise in your own eyes, man. Fear the Lord, Yahweh Shai, and depart from evil. That's right. Depart from evil, man. Come back to the Lord, acknowledge the Lord. And he will, direct your path on where to go. Jeremiah 10 and 23. O Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself. The way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. Over again, man. It's not in us to direct our steps, man. Yahweh knows what's best for us, and it's all about his will at the end of the day. So don't get frustrated. If you can't really get the things that you want, you can't do what you want to do, and if the things you go for doesn't happen for you, the goals you set doesn't happen, because it's all about the Lord's plan for you. Scripture says, make yourself a living sacrifice, especially when you come into this truth. And even those that are in the world, the Lord's directing their steps as well. They're not in control of their life at the end, but you're making yourself a living sacrifice to Yahweh Shai, man, for the greater good, man, ultimately for your salvation, for your benefit, your betterment, And a good example of that is with Jonah. Jonah thought, he was going to do his own thing. And look what happened, The Lord was like, nope, you're going to do what I tell you to do. This is Jonah. Jonah 1:1. Now the word of the Lord came unto Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, arise and go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for the wickedness has come up before me. So the Lord commanded, to go out and prophesy against Nineveh, ancient Nineveh. But Jonah rose up to flee unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. And he went down to Joppa, and he found a ship going to Tarshish, and he paid the fare thereof, and went down unto it, to go with them unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord, man. So he didn't want to do the work. He didn't want to prophesy, he didn't want to do what the Lord commanded him to do. But the Lord sent out a great wind into the sea, and there was like a mighty tempest in the sea. So the ship was like to be broken. So he's out there. The Lord sent a great tempest, a great storm, And the mariners were afraid, and they cried unto every man unto his power, unto his God, and cast forth the wares that were in the ship into the sea to lighten it of them. But Jonah was gone down to the sides of the ship. He lay there fast asleep. Skipping down a little bit, they casted lots, and the lot fell upon Jonah because they wanted to inquire about where this evil was coming upon him. The shipmen. Verse 9, he said unto them, I am a Hebrew, and I fear the Lord Yahweh Shai, the power of heaven, which hath made the sea and dry land. And the men were exceedingly afraid, and said unto him, Why hast thou done this? For the men knew that he fled from the presence of the Lord, because he had told them that lot fell upon Jonas, and they found out. So they cast him out of the ship. Skip down to verse 12. And he said unto them, Take me up, and cast me forth into the sea. So shall the sea be calm unto you. For I know that for my sake is this great tempest is upon you. So, Jonah knew that he brought that storm upon, that shipment. Because he ran from the Lord. He disobeyed the Lord. Skipping down to verse 15. So they took up Jonah and cast him forth into the sea, and the sea ceased from her raging. Then the men feared the Lord exceedingly, and offered the sacrifice unto the Lord, and made vows. So they feared the Lord, man. Jonah didn't, he disobeyed the Lord, man. He didn't do what he was told to do. And the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Yeah, it's a very popular mainstream account in the scriptures about Jonah in the belly of the fish. They call it a whale in Christianity, but scripture said it was a fish, a big fish that swallowed him up. So he's in there 3 days, 3 nights. That's what humbled him down, It said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell I cried, and heard my voice. So the Lord heard it, The point being, jumping down to verse Jonah 2 and 10, and the Lord spake unto the fish and vomited out Jonah upon the dry land. So he brought him right back to where he needed to be to prophesy, man, against Nineveh. So Jonah, he went against what the Lord wanted to do, but the Lord brought him back. It was not he devised his own plan. Yeah, a man's heart deviseth his way. He wanted to go to Tarshish to get him out of there, but the Lord directed his steps right back to Nineveh to do the work. And the Lord's working, like I said, even people in the world, other nations. The Most High works on the minds of these world leaders as well. And the 10 horns, this is Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast. It's about NATO and the EU, those EU nations in today's time. These shall hate the whore being America. And they're going to turn on America, those EU nations. The NATO nations, the EU, NATO, they're going to turn against America. They're going to hate America. It says, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So how are they going to burn her with fire? Through that nuclear destruction. The day of the Lord, day of the Lord's indignation. But the point being right here, for the Most High hath put in their hearts, their minds, to fulfill his will. He put it in their minds to fulfill his will, man. This is what the Most High wants. The Most High wants to destroy, Babylon the Great. It was America, and to agree to give their kingdom unto the beast, to the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. Point being, the Most High put in their hearts, in their minds, to fulfill his will, man. All these kings of the earth, these governors, their hearts are devising their own way. They're trying to do their own thing. But eventually, the Most High is going to direct their steps into this World War III, and ultimately, the destruction of Israel, destruction of America, destruction, missiles touching down, 200 million missiles touching down, and ushering the return of Yahushai. And he's also going to put the hearts to fight the Lord, Before all that, before that, but what they call the scriptures call the war in heaven. The Lord returns with his fleet of angels, the host of heaven. This is 2 Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and and it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. That man sounded like Yahushai. And he waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. That's his angels, the host of heaven, his army of angels that he's going to have with him when he returns. He's going to cover up the whole sky. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. But just skipping down, the point right here says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid. So Esau and his angels, Esau and his armies, his angels, to those fighter jets, this Air Force, they're going to try to fight the Lord, to subdue the Lord, right? And all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. The Lord's going to put the spirit on them to fight him, even though they know. Actually, let's read that, man. I beheld, and lo, and the man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when they turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were under him, that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. Lasers are going to be shooting out of those chariots. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of the number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Because you got waters out there in the heavens, the firmament. So that's talking about Esau and his Air Force. They're gonna come together just to take the Lord down, man. They're gonna try to fight the Lord. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. And that big chariot. I would have seen a region or place where out the hill was graven. It could not. So it was the size of a mountain. He was looking around to see if there was any missing mountains out there. But he couldn't. Because the chariot was the size of a mountain. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, yet durst fight. So they're going to be sore afraid. They're not going to want to fight what they're about to see. A ship, the size of a mountain, blasting lasers out. They're not going to want to fight that. The Lord's going to put the spirit in them to fight it. Lord directing their steps, just like we read in Revelation. It says, for the Most High put in their hearts, their minds, to fulfill his will. Yeah, so, the Lord is directing your steps, man. That's why you should humble and have fear. To fear Yahushai, man, because you don't know what tomorrow may bring. But with that, shalom.